People, hello, welcome back to another video. I'll try and make this one a relatively quick one. Ignore the crease top. Zhang, third round stoppage of Joe Joyce. I didn't do a pre-video because I think I covered it last time, didn't I? I covered Zhang Joyce 1, and it's quite similar in terms of, well, it's the same fight. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, it's round two. Do you know what I mean? It's the second time. Um, so slightly different, but it's not worth another 10-minute video on. So I saved you all the hassle of watching that. Now, I did not expect that to happen. I thought Zhang would win. I thought, judging by how the first fight went and how Joyce's game plan, it's not something you can unlearn in a couple of months. Certainly when you're 38 and you've been boxing for how long he has, you're not going to unlearn that in a couple of months. And he didn't. As a southpaw myself, I know how almost easy it is when you're fighting an orthodox person who's used to fighting orthodox people. They constantly lean, you know what I mean? They lean to the side because they're trying to lean away from an orthodox strong hand, right? What they're doing is leaning straight into a southpaw. Southpaw, you're kind of orthodox is there, right? So you're leaning away from it. Southpaw is there, you're going straight into it. And you get it like constantly the first fight. He's not got great head move. He's not got great head movement anyway, and that was really amplified. For the fact he just kept moving into it. He wasn't moving away from it. The lack of movement going away. It was lack of movement just going into it, if you know what I'm trying to say. So it's almost like I felt like that's the way it's going to go. Like I thought you're just not going to unlearn that, not at that age. I think Zhang was a phenomenal heavyweight. He beat Hergovich, didn't he? I thought George would win the first one. I thought he'd be extremely close. I did say like I think people are writing off how good Zhang is. I did say though that Joyce has that chin, um, which no one can seem to break, and he'll just walk through the punches. And as we saw with Hergovich, Zhang tires later in the round. Joe Joyce doesn't seem to do that, right? So initially in the first fight, I thought Joyce will weather the storm for the first half of the fight, and those latter sort of six is when Joyce will get to him. He'll just eat the punches as he did with Parker, as he's done before with every fight pretty much. And I'll get to you because his time just seems to be very good, right? But ultimately, the fight didn't go long enough, and I think that started to happen. I think towards the end um, of the first fight, the last round, maybe two, Joyce was doing his thing. He was getting in, he was walking through punches. Well, he wasn't walking through punches, but he was getting through. It's just Joyce was wobbled for the first time in his career, which I didn't see coming, obviously. And ultimately, the fight didn't go long enough because his eye. Now, after that, I thought it was the same would happen again. I didn't think it'd be, I thought it'd be around the same sort of round. I didn't think it'd be round three. I thought it'd be around the same sort of round. Zhang will get to him. I think once your chin goes, someone who dines out on having this big chin, once that chin goes, you're kind of done. Like there's no, you're just cracked, and I think you saw that. That said, that punch would have, I think, flatlined anybody. That right hook, um, and Joyce getting up from it was incredible. What now for Joyce? There's still fights in there. I think I'd still like to see an AJ Joyce battle of the Britons. I'd still like to see a Joyce Wilder. No, there's not as much hype, right? And there's not as much money, and there's not as much eyeballs. It's not as big a fight, but it's still a fight I'd like to see. I'd like to see all the top guys. You know, you lose one fight against the top contender in Zhang, doesn't mean shit. I'd still like to see these fights, right? You know, I want to see everyone fight everyone. That said, will it happen right now? He's going to get some time off. Who knows what happens with people like Wilder at the moment and AJ and then these types of things. Now, what next for Zhang? Now, personally, let's get into this. Zhang is a top four heavyweight. Joyce, the hype train. Hergovich, the hype train. He beat Hergovich. He beat Joyce twice. And they're three big wins. I mean, technically, he didn't beat Hergovich, right? But there's still three big wins back to back to back. And let's like you say, Joyce was this person that everyone was saying is going to beat Fury, Wilder, even AJ. probably Usyk, beat up Usyk. People had him in the top four, certainly top five, and Zhang made it look easy. Like he made it look easy. 3 rounds, he didn't look troubled once. 30 seconds into the fight, minute of the fight, certainly the first round after, you're thinking, this is going the exact same way. Joyce looks well out of his fucking comfort zone in deep water. Zhang looks fine. And that's what happened. And you look at that thinking, it's not like he just beat some random, you know, Franklin, or just some random. He beat Joyce comfortably twice. Wow. So for me, he cracks the top four, right? And then you'll ask yourself, well, who comes out? Because in my opinion, you got Fury and Usyk, 1 and 2, pick your order, and you got Wilder and AJ, 3 and 4, pick your order. One has to come out, and I think Wilder. They're going to call me an AJ meat rider, and fair enough, right? But I can explain myself. AJ came off the back of 2 Usyk defeats, and he had 2 fights. Now, granted, they weren't the best fights. He didn't go out in there and fight massive names, but he fought. Supposed to fight White, which would have been a good fight, but he ended up fighting Hellenius. Either way, supposed to be, they're not high level opponents, right? But he came off. He had 2 losses, and he had a 12 rounder and like a 7th rounder. Got some rounds in, got some experience in with his new trainer. Most importantly, got 2 wins, right? And he didn't look troubled. Hellenius one was a bit of a closer one, but he knocked him out. Didn't look particularly troubled, never looked hurt or anything. So there's that. And Franklin, he did to Franklin what Usyk did to him, and just outboxed him for 12 rounds. Masterclass, you know what I mean? So 2 convincing wins is what you would have hoped against people of that sort of standard. You look at Wilder has come off 2 losses, 3 losses really. You got Fury, then he fought someone, forgive me, I can't remember who, or maybe Ortiz, but fought Fury, lost, fought someone else, won, lost, and then he fought Hellenius and he won with the first round knockout, that's it. And he's been inactive for like 18 months or something, I don't know, a long time, right? Been inactive for a long time, and he's had 2 losses, 1 first round knockout. I've not seen enough of him. He hasn't fought anyone else. Inactivity. For that reason, I'd have AJ in there and Wilder drops out. That said, I think Fury. I'll put Usyk first for the same reason. I think Fury. For the same reason, I think. Well, I'll just go for it. For me, it's Usyk, Fury, Zhang, AJ. The reason is, I think Fury's inactive again. Hasn't really fought. He fought Chisora and White. White, fair enough at the time, but Chisora, come on. Now he's fighting Ngannou. He's just holding up the division. He's ducked Usyk. He's ducked AJ. So on that premise alone, Usyk. And do you know, I genuinely think Usyk beats Fury. I genuinely think Usyk beats Fury. But that's a different video. Point is, Usyk, Fury, and then Zhang and AJ. And that is based off the same premises, for me, as why AJ stays in and not Wilder. Zhang has fought Hrgovic. AJ's had 3 fights, lost 1-1. Zhang had lost 1-1, but really he won. So he had 1-1-1. And it was Hrgovic, alluding to Usyk's no shame, but beating Hrgovic, and then beating Joyce, and beating Joyce again more dominantly. Who were both hype trains, especially Joyce. That is far more impressive than beating Franklin on points and knocking out Hellenius in the 7th round. I'm sorry, it just is. And I think if they were to fight, I think Zhang's the favourite. I think if they were to fight, I think Zhang goes in as the favourite to beat AJ. I think AJ wins, for the same reason I think AJ beats Joyce before Joyce lost. I think AJ beats Zhang, but Zhang still goes in as the favourite. I think you can't look at how AJ beat Franklin and how AJ beat Hellenius and then go, yeah, AJ's the favourite against Zhang, because he's not. You look at how Zhang beat Hrgovic and the hype around him. You look at how Zhang beat Joyce with the hype around him, and then Zhang beat Joyce again with the hype around him. he's got to be the favourite. So for that reason, bias aside, Usyk then Fury because I think Usyk one I think Usyk beats Fury, but two Usyk's fighting. Just beat AJ again, beat Dubois, whereas Fury's done. I nearly lost to Wilder, right? Wilder nearly beat him that third time. And then White, and then Chisora, and now Ngannou. For that basis as well, you got Zhang and AJ. I do think AJ would beat Zhang. To be fair, Fury probably would beat Usyk, but I just backing Usyk. No, I'm backing it. Fury, he's British, right? But you get my point. AJ, I'd obviously back because he's British, and I'm a bit of an AJ fan. He's only got me really heavily into boxing, so I've got to respect that, right? But I think Helenius has struggled with the reach. He couldn't land the right hand. Zhang doesn't have that. His reach isn't as much as AJ's. His reach isn't going to keep him away, right? And he can walk him down, but AJ's just a better boxer. AJ's way quicker, head movement. This isn't an AJ Zhang uh, video, right? Hopefully, I mean, that's a fight we could see. And don't think we will. I think AJ could fight Zhang in December. They could fight, especially over in China or even here. I mean, the star power now. That'd be quite a big fight, I think. I'd certainly go and watch it. Wow, exciting fight. Especially that power clearly that Zhang has got. Wow. Anyway, well, yeah, I'm going to leave this here, guys. That's it. For me, Zhang cracks the top four, Wilder out, but better than that, he also knocks AJ down another peg. It goes, for me, Usyk, Fury, Zhang, AJ. You can fiddle with the top two if you really want, but I think based off merits and what's going, meritocracy, beating Dubois is better than beating Chisel, right? Um, what now? I think Hergovic, go for it. You beat Joyce. You got the WBO mandatory. Go for it. He's got to fight him or Hergovic. If I'm Usyk, I'm going for Hergovic. I'll beat Hergovic, thanks. And then maybe see where we are then. Do you know what I mean? Zhang can. He didn't look too troubled. He can jump in with AJ in the summer. Hopefully, he got a rematch AJ or the Fury fight. But yeah, for me, Usyk, Fury, fill them how you want, and then Zhang, AJ. I don't think there's much debate there. I think Zhang certainly cracks the top four now. It's whether you have him third or fourth. I reckon that depends on whether you got Wilder and AJ in there. Because if I kept Wilder in, I'd have Wilder third and Zhang fourth. So I do think the only reason is just Wilder just knocks everybody out. And I think the way Zhang is, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's clearly unreal. I just have him third, right? But I think Wilder he's just too big and slow for Wilder not to just crack a right hand, or right hand on there. And based off that, I think Wilder would be third, right? And then you got him fourth. But it's a potentially a knockout, I suppose. If you keep an AJ in there like I am, you have Zhang third. Let me know what you think down below. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And take it easy, people. Peace.